power racing outward, spreading and spreading as it devoured Chrysalis, devoured Asphodel, devoured the Underworld, and every living thing in the realm. Lyre's eyes flew open. He jerked upright, and a threadbare blanket slid into his lap. He gasped for air as he stared wildly around the unfamiliar bachelor apartment. Beside him on the narrow, sagging bed, Clio was curled in a ball on her side, hair matted with dried blood and a bandage taped to her cheek. As his heart rate slowed, he raked a hand through his hair, shaking off the dream so he could focus. Where the hell was he? He surveyed the room a second time. Dingy walls, a tiny kitchen with barren cupboards, and a pair of mismatched chairs. 2 closed windows, and a window with nothing but darkness and a few scattered lights beyond the glass. Lyre's bow leaned in a corner, and nearby was another set of weapons. A huge sword in a black sheath, 2 shorter blades, and an assortment of daggers. The back of his neck prickled. He snapped his head around and spotted a pair of golden eyes staring at him from atop the kitchen cupboards, before the small creature ducked deeper into the shadows. One of the 2 doors swung open. A daemon walked out of a small bathroom, a ragged towel in his hand. His hair was damp, dark strands that shimmered with wine-red iridescence clinging to his face. He wore dark pants and a black t-shirt, the red tie that was normally braided into his hair hanging from one pocket. Without his combat gear, Ash almost looked like a normal guy. Cool, storm-gray eyes turned to Lyre as Ash flipped the towel over the back of a chair and dropped into it. "You're awake." Lyre suppressed a shiver. Even with glamour disguising his dragon-like form, Ash's deep, sepulchral voice didn't sound quite human. "Surprisingly," Lyre replied cautiously. "I expected to be dead." He watched the Draconian lace up his boots, struggling to piece together how he'd gotten here. He remembered the abandoned park where Bastion had taken him and Clio arriving to fight her half-brother. He remembered getting hit yet again by the shadow weave, his magic devoured and his body left too weak to move. And then... "Reapers," Lyre muttered. "What happened to the Reapers?" There had been 2 of them. Their arrival had spooked Bastion into fleeing with the clock, but the Reapers had overheard what it could do. They'd planned to take Lyre and Clio back to Asphodel. Then Ash had joined his Reaper handlers, and that was the last thing Lyre remembered. "The Reapers are dead," the Draconian replied. Surprise flickered through Lyre, followed by relief. He contemplated that simple statement, sifting through what hadn't been said. "You killed them?" "And destroyed the evidence." Ash leaned back in his chair. "You fucked up, Incubus." "Can't argue there, but what specifically are you referring to?" "Creating that spell, first off, then letting it out of your control. What the hell were you thinking?" He didn't pause to let Lyre respond. "What the nymph said about it wiping out the daemon armies and destroying ley lines. Is that true?" Lyre nodded. "You're an idiot." "Thanks for that keen observation," Lyre said dryly. "Can we skip the part where I explain how the shadow weave was a huge mistake and get on with the important stuff?" Ash stretched his legs out. "Samael doesn't know your spell exists, and it needs to be destroyed before he finds out." Samael, the warlord of Hades and ultimate owner of Chrysalis, wasn't just the most politically powerful daemon in the Underworld. He was also the daemon who controlled Ash's life, though by what means Lyre didn't know. "Is that why you saved us?" he asked, glancing at Clio, still dead to the world. "Why else?" Lyre drew in a deep breath, forcing himself to think before he made a smart-ass retort. Only days ago they had battled to the near death in the alleys of downtown Brynford, Ash forced to obey Samael's command and Lyre desperately defending himself. "You're under orders to kill me." "And I will. Just not yet." "Not yet." A quiet chuckle that was part bitterness, part amusement escaped Lyre. "Better than nothing, I guess." "Orders are orders." Ash shrugged dismissively. "If you don't want me to kill you,